Conor, 3-1 defeat to end the season with. What did you make of that one today?
Probably summed up a lot of our season, I think, in a lot of games, especially not especially at home, probably both. I think competed really well. I think game was even. Obviously a mistake for the first goal, but not a mistake in terms of the season, but just a moment. And then we got back into it with Broadie's goal, which is a really good goal, well taken, shows the quality that he has. And then it's just moments again. I think you can't let a player like Jeroboam. We know his threat when he comes inside. That was the big thing about the game is stopping that. I think it's probably too similar to how the season's gone and ultimately as to why we couldn't get the job done and why we came up short. I think moments. I don't think through a lack of being in games, through being competitive, through being the better team with the ball. I think both teams were quite good with the ball today. We had a lot of entries, final third entries. Just moments really. Yeah,
it's a frustrating bit, isn't it, where you have these opportunities and in games you get into good positions, create chances, and it's one little bit that slips and you end up conceding.
It is. I think it'd be a lot easier to take if we were just second best every week and losing games. It'd be a lot easier to take, so you can just say we're not at the level. But I don't feel like that's been the case at all. I think we've shown we can compete with these teams on a consistent basis. It's just about, like I say, I don't want to keep touching on it, but just about moments. I think in this league, I always thought before coming to this league that really in the EFL, tackles and duels and coming out the right side of that was really important. And the Premier League has proven to me that it's even more important than it is in the EFL, because if you lose those duels, it's going to people with really good quality. I think you look at the third goal, we lose a duel on the third goal, which you can't lose, and they end up going to score off the back of it, and that happens a lot. I think that's been one of my biggest learning curves. Is the horrible side of the game is even more important. There's even more importance on it, because if you don't win it, then the ball's going to people with a lot of quality and that can hurt you.
Has the physicality surprised you? It feels like Premier League players are big, strong players, and sometimes
hasn't surprised me. I knew that. I think we all knew that. We all knew the challenge. We all knew the running statistics that we needed to get to, and we're there with the running statistics. We're one of the best teams in the league with it. I said that physically hasn't surprised me. It's one that we knew was there before the start of the season.
Yeah. What's the manager's message been out of finishing season?
Obviously, there's a lot of things that are for us players and no one else to hear. But it's just, I think, probably similar to the way I've described the season. We're in an awful lot of games, and to really bridge that gap is not that far in terms of. Like I say, it'd be a lot easier if we were second best football-wise every week, but that's honestly not the case. It's not the feeling within the dressing room. It's moments in games, and I think that's our execution in the final third, and then on the back of that, our stifling of players and top players, best players in the world at the other end. It's just moments. So probably in both boxes is something that's been a big load.
After the game then, nice slap of appreciation. You had the kids on the pitch. How was that for you?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's important from our side to show our appreciation for the fans. I think the last 2 or 3 years speaks for itself. It's easy to be a fan when you're coming off the last 2 years, but to be how they've been all season, when we've not won a lot of games, to keep coming in the numbers, to keep making a lot of noise, I think they've been a credit to the football club. I think they've been an incredible part of making this journey enjoyable as it can be, even though we've not won as many games. And that was a big part of the motivation today. We really wanted to get a win for the fans to go off in the summer with a win. That's probably the biggest disappointment from today, from my part, because I feel like they've been incredible all season. And look, we need them to stick with us. We need them to understand that next season is going to be another challenge, and to keep a positive spin on everything. This club's in an incredibly better position than it was 12 months ago. A relegation doesn't change that. The club's on an upward trajectory for sure. But like I say, to bridge the gap, the fans are going to help us massively as well.
And next season, the ambition's going to be to go again and to get promotion.
Yeah, of course, has to be. I don't think there's too much to be said about that. We know it's of incredibly tough league, especially with the teams that have come down and the teams that have come up in terms of finances. It's probably going to be one of the hardest championships for a long time in terms of the stature of the clubs there. So yes, but obviously the goal is the goal.
Challenge you're looking forward to, though?
Yeah, of course. I think if you're not looking forward to that and you can't get yourself up for that, then there's something seriously wrong.
Yeah. Last one from me, Maximo Longo. You've been here throughout his entire time at Portman Road. His final game today. What have you made of him as a player, his farewell, everything to do with him?
Couldn't possibly speak higher enough of Mass. He's probably one of my closest friends in the group. Gonna miss him massively. The impact that he's had, not on just myself but on the team as a whole, from when he came in that January in League One, has been incredible. I think his statistics show that. He's been one of the best teammates that you could ever wish to have in terms of driving standards every day, in terms of making other people look better. I think I know he's loved here a lot, but I think even with the love that he gets, he's still underappreciated massively and it's not anyone's fault, because you have to play with him to appreciate him fully. He makes every single person better. He's so clever, knows exactly what to do, when to do it, so much nous in the way he plays, and as a guy he's just an incredible fella, real family man, something that we've really got in common and bonded a lot over. Real family man. Credit to his wife and his kids in the way that he handles himself and the way that he acts every single day. I can't explain how much I've enjoyed the last 2.5 years with him. I love him to bits.
We spoke to Sam Morsey in the week. He said that he didn't really buy into the idea that momentum from one season to the next is a big shift in terms of going from a downward momentum and regaining the positive momentum. Is that something that you agree with?
I think with our culture, yeah. I think it's at a club like ours, with a culture like ours, with individuals in the football club like ours, it's absolutely null and void when you come back in. And whenever we come back in, the mindset is completely different. And I think probably for me, not even have a little bit of reflection now from the season, but it has to change straight away. That you can't have any hangover from, and that's clear for us players, from the staff, and we won't wait for people on that. Like, as a senior player, I won't wait for people on that to come in. No sulking. If you don't want to be here, you're not here. But if you want to be here, we've all got a common goal, and that's something that I'll be massive on.
And once you have reflected on this season, what does a successful off-season look like?
Successful off-season? Yeah. A lot of downtime, a lot of chill time. We spend an awful lot of time away from our families, so with our families as much as possible. A lot of rest and then getting ready and preparing for pre-season.